take the red pill. And I'm going to become one of those facts don't care about your feelings people. I'm going to pull a full Dave Rubin and make a 6-figure salary at age 15. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have a beautiful set with fake books like Dave Rubin does. Anyway, yeah, and you better believe Cokes aren't pumping money into Ben Shapiro. Like, let's be honest. We know they are to Dave Rubin here. So yeah, here he goes after railing about people. The moment a Republican gets in power, and they do these things like putting kids in cages, like people call them Nazis. Like, what's up with that? And here's Obama supporters celebrating perfectly peacefully the victory of the first black president. So yeah, here's the quote. Why in the world should we be excited about the young Americans defining our politics? No political movement has ever been led by young people that's ever resulted in good. Nazism became popular among the youth before it became the German national theology. Yeah, so I mean these youths out there, which like he's probably like the same age as them, if not younger. At that time, back in 2008, and I mean they're all Nazis, don't you know? Yes, Shapiro's civility, his exemplary civility. And by the way, these examples here are courtesy of Think Progress. He once referred to the White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel as a capo, a person carrying out Nazi orders, and in 2010, he called. He said that in an open letter to American Jews. He also called George Soros a capo, someone carrying out Nazi orders later this year. Later that year, back in 2010. Shapiro's comparisons weren't limited to that decade as he took Peter's bait and fired off a column, "The Peanut Nazis," way back in 2003. Whoa, he's been around for a long time. He's calling people Nazis back in high school from his mom's basement. Before he got those Koch brother money. Yeah, so and then we go from Nazism here to fascism. Max Boot, he's another one of these principal conservatives, said, I join other principal conservatives in rooting for a democratic takeover of both houses in November. Like post-war Germany and Japan, the Republican Party must be destroyed before it can be fixed. Me and at Post Opinions. That's conservative. This is the first brand of conservatism today that we mentioned. The people who are like, just go away, Donald Trump. Like, you're beyond the pale. Just get Mitt Romney in here, please. Just, like, get Mitt Romney. Just somehow, please put in Mitt Romney. We need him. And, yeah, so that's the one group of conservatives. And then Ben Shapiro comes in, being his second group of conservative self. If you think today's Republican Party resembles Japanese fascism or Nazism, Trump has driven you absolutely mad. Whoa! Yeah, so he's saying this is not the day we're living in today is not fascism. Here's the thing: in fascist states, you don't get to do this. Saying Susanna, responding to Susanna R. Taylor, the speak out begins in the name of humanity. We refuse to accept a fascist America. #Berkeley. So it's probably a Berkeley protester. So then he did go and he took on some different. He took on a different tone after literally Obama's 2012 State of the Union address. So, here's what he said. This is his reaction to post-Obama 2012 State of the Union address, January 24th, 2012. This is his tweet. Obama upset that democracy isn't a big set of soldiers he can play with. This speech was the fascist mentality in action. So yeah, I mean, he's calling Obama. He says Obama has the fascist mentality. It's in action here, folks. It's a big problem. Like, the fascist mentality, it's coming to get us all. Because the democracy isn't a big set of soldiers he can play with. Like, yeah, I mean, Obama caused real damage to it. Come on. Yeah, so President Shapiro calling it the President of the United States and calling him a fascist mentality. It's not calling him fascist. He just says fascist mentality. It's not the same thing here. Well, it wasn't a one-time thing. He also offered his unique insights on Obama's 2010 State of the Union column. In a column, he is really... apparently, State of the Unions delivered by black presidents are fascists all of a sudden. Obama's philosophically fascist State of the Union. So this is his column. This is a money quote. President Obama is, however, a man who embodies all the personal characteristics of a fascist leader, right down to the arrogant chin-up head tilt that he utilizes when waiting for applause. He's literally calling the movement of his head after he's finished speaking, fascist. Yeah, don't call people fascist. That head tilt, that was fascist. They're getting us. Don't you understand? We're gonna die. Like, that's pretty much. It's quite the contradiction. I'll say that. Anyway, yeah. Obama's fascism claims were not limited to Obama. Yeah, don't you understand? Sandra Fluke is a hero, he says in September 5th, 2012. She wants the churches to hand out birth control. Oh, wait, that makes her a fascist. Yeah, so total random fascist stuff. Yep. That fascist life. Yeah, he also says, if you think you have the right to force me to serve you with the help of a government compulsion, you're a fascist. So this is probably over the gay rights thing, was being, I guess. Pain lingers for lesbians, couples denied, hashtag, in hashtag sweet case cakes. This was again an article written by the Oregonian, and he responded, fascists want more fascism. No, we just want service in public places. That's not fascist, that's equal rights. Yeah. And then he goes literally, and then he calls so many people fascist. Donald Trump's regime, that's not fascist, but literally Chris Murphy tweeting, last night, once again, proved that there is no anxiety or sadness or fear you feel right now that cannot be cured by political action. And Ben Shapiro's response to a blatant, basic call for political action: this is fascist garbage. Criticism of Taylor Swift: fascist. Firing an employee who wrote a sexist manifesto at Google: fascism. A major American university is banning a talk on free speech: that is leftist fascism. Then, conservatives are responsible for Trump. This is what he said: conservatives responsible for Trump. Now, the left and the media are responsible for Trump. This is pretty much a good example of like a lot of conservatives who really they've tried to resist. They tried to become against the fray. But then you see Ben Shapiro, Glenn Beck. They got to be putting on that "Make America Great Again" hat. All those principled conservatives. Yeah, so pretty much he's being a hypocrite. But I mean, does he care? No. Will it affect him? No, because his fans are mutants and idiots who don't care about actual integrity. They just care about being awful to as many people as possible and calling everything fascist. And they play to win. That's pretty much they play to destroy. They play for real domination of everything, and they get the real domination of everything, if you know what I'm trying to say. Now, we talked about the first, second, third groups of conservatives. Now we get a third group about the loons here. And the crazies who are really dominating conservative politics here. Congressman Jim Jordan and his pals are in the midst of deploying various defensive maneuvers meant to discredit a number of former Ohio State wrestlers who say Jordan knew about the sexual abuse they suffered at the hands of a team doctor while Jordan was an assistant coach on the program. So, yeah, he pretty much pulled a Joe Paterno, and it was he can't even claim that he was senile. He was like 27, and there's a lot of people who are saying, dude, why didn't you report this doctor? He was like grabbing the wrestlers a little too hard in the crotch area when they came in. Here's this psychopath freak doll on Matt Gaetz on Lou Dobbs Tonight. Here's what he had to say about this whole Jim Jordan situation. By the way, Lou Dobbs
the timing is
looks
very
like
suspect.
He's about to die.
To me, what's most suspicious
Matt
is
Gaetz.
that right after Jim Jordan brought to the floor the question of the Department of Justice's complete delay in turning over documents, it's only days after that when he elevates the contentiousness of that issue that I think there are people that have some loose affiliation with the deep state that are out to get Jim Jordan, and this is the way that they're manifesting their hatred for a man who's doing everything to fight for the regular folks in this country who want, demand, and deserve the truth.
A mission that you are also on, and we appreciate both you and Congressman Jordan. Thank you. Thank you very much, Congressman.
That is really cute, actually. Like, couple goals right there. But yeah, it's again, these people, like these Mike Cernoviches, and like these Mike Cernoviches, these QAnon people, these dark people who are like the worst far corners of the far reaches of the crazy right-wing web. They will say anything. They're gonna say anything to, like, all these conspiracies. You're fascist. You, like, as we just saw, you're a child predator. You're coming to get our kids. When one of their own, like, there's clear evidence of him covering up a child testicle grabber, a child abuser, a team doctor, and one of their own covers it up. Instead of going all crazy, it's like these abuses that they're talking about is right here in front of them. They'd be like, oh, Hillary Clinton, she's a child abuser. Pizzagate, everybody. Don't forget about Pizzagate. For those of you who don't know, QAnon, I mentioned before, it's a dark corner of the web where pretty much what happens is, the belief is that Hillary Clinton, they can't arrest Hillary Clinton, right, because it would be too big. And so pretty much she's just living under federal supervision, allowed to be out everywhere because she's a child abuser. Trump got her, everyone. He's the best, right? Trump got her. And so now her and all the other deep state criminals, they're living under federal watch. So everything's okay. You see? And yeah, so this is what they say. They make child abuse out of like the nothing. They say everyone who does not doing child abuse is doing child abuse. And when someone else does child abuse in their own ranks, nah. Who cares? Like Eric Greitens. Like, he's so well respected, even after he did some crazy sexual things. It's pretty crazy, yeah. So, this whole thing Matt Gaetz said, this is a deep state plot. I mean, it's insane, of course, but it really doesn't mean anything. If you're a person in Gaetz' office right now and tell him to stop sniffing glue long enough to explain to him exactly what the deep state is, you probably get the world's worst vacant stare in return before he, like, falls over, hits his head on the chair. So his mind would be blown. Yeah, that same thing would probably happen if you ran up Jordan and asked him to say exactly what fake news is about journalists doing standard reporting. So when, of course, we talked about the quote you may have seen, Jim Jordan saying, now at CNN is contacting all of our 100-plus former staffers and interns asking for dirt on me. Getting desperate. Don't believe the fake news. Yeah, so that's pretty much the definition of reporting. And by the way, these same people are about to go impeach Rod Rosenstein, who just indicted 12 more Russians today. Yeah, so it's getting out of control. And yeah, so the derangement of thoughts such as these will not prevent them from achieving their goal of discrediting victims of abuse. So there's no need to ever actually engage with any issue in anything approaching a sane manner anymore. You can just say whatever you want. The President of the United States is out there constantly babbling about fake news and the deep state, and so all you have to do is ride on the back of his political success and scream fake news and deep state, because you're going to get a whole certain sect of the country, which is your base that keeps you in power, to believe it, and you'll be fine. And you get reelected year after year after year, and you won't have to resign because there's not going to be no political pressure on you to resign, because that's how split up and how crazy one wing of our country are. And on that positive note, that's our show. It's our first show back in a few weeks. Hour 15 minutes. It was a doozy show today. Hope you enjoyed it, because I know I did. Good to be back on the radio. Good to be back on there playing some music, having some fun. We hope you enjoyed our show. Please check us out on iTunes. Like, rate, listen. You know the drill.